Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about should you buy a manual or auto transmission car or truck. So if you've been watching the channel or the past videos, you know that I own a manual 2013 Ford Focus ST and a 2010 manual Ford Ranger. And so if you know that I have a little bit of experience with manual. However, I have not owned a automatic yet. And I don't really plan on owning one. It just depends on the car, and I would get like a DCT, like a BMW, because I think that fits the car. But other than that, I'm gonna stick with manual. My first reason as to why you should get a manual is they're fun to drive, and it's just a better experience while you're driving. And along with that, the experience of knowing how to drive a manual and that skill that you get to learn, and just the the experience and stuff that you get from driving one. And I don't think I would have bought an auto even if that was like the only Ranger that I could find in the color and everything that I wanted. I would have gotten manual anyways. It just makes the car have like a soul. If you're a car person, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it just gives it a better feel when you're driving. Now with manual, it is easy to change how it feels when you're driving. So like on the Focus, I put new shifter linkage bushings on it, and it changed the way that car drives like a ton. Like the shifts are like crisp, and you can tell when you're in gear. It just makes it a lot better and more fun to drive. Now I don't know about trucks if that would make a bigger difference, but because the shifter is longer and not as short, so I don't know about the difference that would make in a truck, because I haven't done it yet, or don't know if I plan to yet. But I think it's way easier to change how it drives if it's a manual rather than auto, where you can tune it and make it shift faster. So like if you're building a time attack car or a drag race, you might want to get an auto just so it's quicker. Although with auto, it is easier to find that car that you want. Unless it only comes in a manual, then you'll have to get a manual. But if it's the car that you want, or it's more common to find that car if it's an auto. Like, there's not that many Rangers in the manual that I found when I was looking. It's kind of more rare nowadays, especially with manual and auto. And I would recommend going from like a raw clutch, which is what my manual or my Ranger is. Unlike the Focus, where it has a assisted clutch, where it's gonna help you like get off into first and start going. It'll give it gas on its own and just help you. It makes it easier to drive. But I had that first, so I learned manual that way. And I bought this truck with the raw manual, and I kind of had to relearn how to drive manual with the raw clutch manual. So that was kind of difficult. Still kind of getting used to that. And once my Focus comes out of storage or for winter, I think I'm gonna have a little bit of trouble driving that, because I'll be used to raw clutch or manual. Now in traffic, I'd say auto is way better, because using the clutch every single time you're going from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, even sixth or seventh gear, it can take a lot, and it can get pretty tiring. So if you live in a highly populated area and you're always in traffic, don't get a manual, get an auto. But if you want like a weekend car that you just drive a few days, then you can get a manual, or if you want, it's up to you, but it's just better to drive auto in traffic than manual. Now some cars only come in manual, so if you don't know how and you really want that car, you won't be able to drive it until you learn. Like my Focus STs, they only come in manual, and the RS. So if you ever wanted one of those, you can't drive it without knowing how to drive manual first. And if you buy an auto, you don't get that experience with having a manual and gaining the skills and knowledge of how to drive one. So yeah. One of the cons to owning a manual is if you don't know how to drive them right, you could break something or wear down the clutch pretty fast if you're not if you don't know how to actually drive it and use the clutch for the purpose that it was made for. Now that brings me to another reason of why, or about manual and auto. Auto shifts faster. There's some people that can shift pretty fast, like almost to auto, but it's rare. And that all depends on your skill and the time that you've been driving a manual. But I think if you're younger like me, definitely get a manual and learn while you're young. It's just, you can have a manual and learn while you're younger, and it's just a cool thing to learn while you're young. So definitely try it out. Maybe if a friend has a manual, drive it. And even learn that way if you want. It all depends, if you want to or not. I think every person should know how to drive a manual, even though it's slightly dying or slowly, as new car models come out and new designs and stuff. But those are all the reasons why I think you should get a manual over auto. This video is kind of biased, but that's just what I think and what I've learned to like. And I've been driving manual for a year, and I don't think I would choose an auto yet. Even through two winters, not a problem. Even in Michigan, when the winter can get pretty bad, I haven't had any trouble with it, especially with a rear wheel drive truck. No problems. Perfect. I haven't replaced a clutch yet. Haven't needed to. The only part that I've had to replace is the bushings. Or I didn't have to replace them, I just chose to. So I replaced those and changed the car to how I like it. Shift knob, you can customize that to how you like. And there's just more things that you can do with manual than auto. But anyways, I made a new vision board. It just looks more appealing. I'll show you that when I get home and talk about it a little bit more. And talk about how the goals are going so far, with us being half a month in, or almost 3 weeks. And yeah, I'll show you guys. That's the new vision board. Put the app logos and everything, and then that is the car I'm going to work towards this year and be able to afford it. That car is a 2010 Chevy Camaro V8 manual. Those go for like 25,000 with like 60,000 miles. So that is what I'm working towards, and I eventually get. That is my dream car. So I'm going to do everything possible. But that's the end of this video. Hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe and drive safe.